Good morning, friends. It's Wonderful Wednesday. Welcome, welcome. I've had a kind of a busy week this week with work. And when I have a busy week, it makes it so I don't have a lot of brain power to do my crocheting. And so, as I was sitting here last night, I was thinking, what can I do that's kind of easy? I had been chatting with my friend Hannah, and she was telling me about this really cool pattern that MJ had. MJ's Off the Hook Design to do a holiday stocking, Christmas stocking with granny squares. And I thought, oh, that would be fun. I could just do some granny squares real easy. Hey, Kelly, good morning. Cassie, good morning. So I thought, well, let's just do a little stocking. So it takes 18 granny squares. And I thought, I can do that. Molly said, how cute, right? It is cute. You could do it with a solid color, or you could mix up your colors and do a variegated. And that's what I decided to do. So I had this beautiful yarn. It's called Flocked Tree. The mods will pin where you can get all the materials. But I just thought, oh, well, that'll be fun. I could work on some granny squares and not have to do a whole lot of thinking. So that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to make some real cute granny squares. And then when we get 18 of them, that's what it takes. We will sew them together and make a little stocking. And then you do kind of a ribbed cuff on it at the top when you get them all sewn together. Hey, Little Red, good morning. Thank you so much for the heart me. So, very easy granny squares. We're going to do a total of 4 rows. Now, I tried just letting the colors flow, but they didn't end up looking really nice. Basically, what happens when you're using this yarn is there's not enough to finish like a full round. So here's one that I was playing around with. You can see it started to change to green right here, and then it would have had part of the square had a green on it. And I thought, oh, I don't really like that. So I'm definitely controlling the colors on this. It is a variegated yarn and I'm not letting it flow. I guess I'm too much of a control freak. So anyhow, we're just kind of doing the 4 different rows. And everybody does granny squares a little different, but I thought, well, this will be fun. I can come on and kind of show y'all how I do my granny squares. So I think it's really pretty colors. So I'm going to start with a magic ring. Now you could start with a chain of 3 or 4 here if you prefer. This stocking is not going to get a lot of wash or wear. It's going to be hanging up for a short period of time. So I'm not too worried about my magic ring and all of that. I start by bringing down a loop. I crisscross my yarn and I hold it between my middle finger and my thumb. Then what I do is I do a standing double crochet into the magic ring. So I don't go through the magic ring to create this. I work on this yarn that's up above and I wrap it around twice. Then I go down into the magic ring. I go under the tail as well and I pull up a loop. So we have 3 loops on our hook. Then I yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that's my first stitch, which basically is like a standing double. Then I need 2 more double crochets into the magic ring. We're going to make 4 groups of 3. In between, I'm going to chain 2. So there's my first grouping. Now I'm going to do another grouping of 3. Gotta love granny squares. I know. I'm going to make, hopefully, I'll make 4 of these, one for me, one for Mr. Wheeler, one for Diesel, and one for Mo. And then we'll have a whole little set for the family. I'll tell you, I'll give you a little warning. It is blustery, cold, and miserable out there. So, our boy is inside this morning. No, no, he doesn't want to be outside, but he might be jumping up here in my lap trying to get some love. Off, 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 off. No. Go lay down on your bed. Yeah, it's cold. It is so windy. It's like 48 degrees out there. It's fluctuating between 40 and 48 and 50, but it is cold and that wind is just miserable. So once I have my 4 groups with my chain of 2, now I'm going to join with a slip stitch to my very first stitch. Now, I'm going to go ahead and snip off here. We're going to change colors. Randy, we might bring him up a little later, but let's try to keep him off the lap for a while if we can. He was inside yesterday too because it was again pretty nasty out there yesterday as well. I'm over this cold weather, I'll tell you. Okay, so throw away my little scrap here. As you're working your squares, you're definitely going to want to weave in your tails as you go because otherwise you're going to end up with a whole bunch of them at the end of your project, and it takes a long time to weave in the ends if you don't do it as you go. So we're going to try to be a little disciplined this morning, and let's see if old Wheeler here can be a good girl and weave in her ends as we go. At least some of them, so I don't have so much to do. So I put my yarn on a darning needle, and then I'm going to weave this around. I try to split the fibers as I'm working, and I'm just going to weave this in a whole bunch of times around the center of this square. Now, again, these are for a stocking, which, most likely is not going to get washed. And it's just going to kind of hang out here for a month or so while it's hanging on the fireplace kind of thing. Burr, Candy Joe. Good morning, by the way. It's cold up in your neck of the woods. I feel like it's cold here, but y'all have me beat. Hey, Dog Mama. Good morning. Welcome in, everybody. We're working on granny squares today. So we've started with our very first center. And I'm just alternating these colors. No rhyme or reason. I'm just kind of mixing them up. Once they get all sewn together, they're going to look like this. We need a total of 18 squares. So that's all we're going to be doing today is just some granny squares. I am controlling the colors as I'm doing it. And I'm going to use this dark green because I've already got that going here. I did get myself a cup of hot cocoa this morning. Hey, Crochet All Day, welcome in. Good morning. Beth and Joanne, thank you so much for the follows, my friends. Welcome in if you're new. My name is April, and I'm a hobby crocheter. Today we're making little granny squares for a Christmas stocking. I'm going to start with my next color. We're going to do a slip knot on our hook, and I'm going to be working into the corner, and I'm going to start here with a standing double. Now I'm going to work over the tail of where I finished to try to give us a little head start for weaving in our ends. The way I make my standing double is I wrap my yarn around once, so we have 2 loops on our hook. And I secure my tail between my pointer finger and my thumb. I go into the space and then I twist my hand forward and I transfer the job of holding Mr. Thumb here, holding the tail to Mr. Thumb here. If you let go, what happens is this will spin off and you'll only be down to 1 loop on your hook. Then I drop a loop, so we have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that's our first stitch, which is a standing double. Now you also could do a chain of 3 here or chain of 2 if you prefer. Either way works totally fine. You could do a stack single, all the things. So now I need 2 more double crochets into this corner, chain 2, and right back down into this corner, we need 3 more double crochets. So that's how our corner is looking. Now, as I move to the next corner, I don't do any chains for my granny squares. So some people prefer to put a chain in between. You could totally do that. I just don't do that with my squares. So entirely a personal preference. But all I'm going to do is hop over to our next corner space here, and we're going to put 3 more double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. And we're going to work that all the way around. So 3 and 3 in each corner with a chain of 2 in between. Hey, Yolanda, good morning. Welcome in. Vera and Monique, welcome. Thank you so much for the follows, friends. My name is April. We're glad to have you here this morning. We always love some new friends. We have a great little community here. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit here on these squares. See if that's any better. Okay, so now I'm going to hop over to the next space. And again, we're going to do our 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets. Corner number 3 is now complete. Let's move over to corner number 4. Right down in, again, no chain or anything, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Thank you, Vonda. This yarn is called Flocked Tree. The mods will pin where you can get it. It's a really beautiful variegated yarn. I am controlling the colors as we're making these squares, but it has a light green, a dark green. Now, I'm not using this bluish color here. It's like a gray blue. I don't really like that color in there, so I'm just omitting that from my project. Rocky, thank you so much for sharing the live. Shelly said, "Girl, I just made 200 squares with all my leftover yarns. Now to make another blanket." 200 squares. Wow, that is incredible, Shelly. That's a lot of squares. I don't know if I'm that ambitious. I have been at certain points in my life, but I prefer these smaller projects. I'm going to make a Christmas stocking out of mine, and I only need 18, so a lot less for sure. Hey, Nana, good morning. Welcome in. It is 7:30 here, and I'm in Northeast Alabama. Now I'm going to join with a slip stitch to my very first stitch here. And the way I learned from my grandma is we always finished here in the corner. So all I do is I just slip stitch across the top here. She always taught me that it was easier to weave in your ends if you finished in a corner because you have all of these stitches to weave in your tail. So now I'm going to go ahead and snip off. And we need to weave in some more tails. You can see they do kind of pile up rather quickly. So let's get our darning needle. I'm going to try to be a good girl this morning and weave in some ends. So I'm not actually making a blanket this morning, Brown Eyes. I'm going to make a total of 18 squares, and we're going to make this Christmas stocking. So you can see there's one on each side. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. And then for the toe, you have one that's folded in half, 17. And for the heel, you have one that's folded in half. So very, very easy. Then we're going to come back and do this ribbing on the top. But this is a pattern by MJ. She has a lot of beautiful patterns. If you're not watching her over on YT, y'all are missing out. I think she might have a TikTok also. Um, so here we go, weaving in our ends. Now this yarn, because it's got that sparkle in there, it can be a little challenging to get that sparkle little piece on your needle as well. But just try to work with it. There are some times where I just snip off that metallic. So now all I'm going to do, each of these has been knotted in, so I'm not really worried about it coming loose. But what I do is I weave back and forth here under the corner spaces a couple times and just kind of get these tails woven in and hidden. Okay, so that's really all we're trying to do this morning. Susan, good morning. Welcome in. Leah, good morning. Glad to have you here, friend. JT in the house. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's having a fabulous Wednesday. It is a blustery day here in Northeast Alabama. It's raining. That wind is howling out there. It is absolutely howling. So, not a lot of fun. Let's weave in this one too while we're here. See how that sparkle kind of separates? That's all right. Vicky, thank you so much for the super populars. Appreciate that. Jules, level up sparks. Congratulations on leveling up. Vicky, thank you so much for the coffee magic. Appreciate y'all being here this morning. Let's see here. Y'all, if I missed welcome you in, I'm doing some stitch talk today. Not a lot of stitch talk. We're working on granny squares, but I am making 18 of these, and then I'm going to sew them together to make a Christmas stocking. And I'm using a colorway called Flocked Tree. I am controlling the colors here, and just kind of alternating however I see fit. But we're alternating each row a different color. And when I get all of them done, we'll sew them together and we'll make a little stocking. I hope it turns out cute. I've never made one of these before. It is a really pretty colorway. It's got that nice little sparkle in it. Now that sparkle is not rough. Some sparkle yarns I've used is kind of rough, but it's not too bad. This one is really nice and soft. I do like this yarn. Okay, so there's our back, and here's what we're looking like on the front. Let's see, Queensland, Australia. Well, it's nighttime there, right, in Queensland? This is, uh this is how the squares are looking after we get them all kind of finished up. You can see the different ones I have. So I'm just mixing and matching the colors however it kind of comes out, but I am controlling when I finish the color just to make it, so that each row has a different color. Okay, so let's use this beige color here now. Put my needle away so I don't lose that. I'm going to start with a slip knot on my hook. And I'm going to pick any corner here to start. And once again, I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. Now you could start here with a chain of 3 or 2. You could also do a stack single here if you prefer. The way I do my standing double is I put a slip knot on my hook and I secure the tail between my pointer finger and my thumb. I wrap my yarn around once, so we have 2 loops on our hook. Now it's very important, you don't want to let go of your tail because what happens is it will spin and you will be back down to 1 loop. So however you do it, you've got to secure that tail. 2 loops, I go down through the space. Now I transfer the job of holding that tail over here to Mr. Thumb, grab up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that is our standing double. Now back into this corner, we need 2 more double crochets. I know, Mr. Thumb, he's got to earn his keep around here, right, Leah? Okay, there is 3 double crochets in the corner, chain 2, scooch these to the side if you need to, and now we're going to do 3 more double crochets right back down into this corner. Okay, so there's our corner. Now, some people like to chain 1 as they head to this next space here. I don't do any chains, so I'm just going to move to the next space, and I'm going to do 3 double crochets right into this space. Now we're going to head over to the corner. I'm going to work over this tail if I can and try to get him secured in. Again, no chain, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Hop over to our side space here. Jasmine, I am actually live streaming this morning with 2 different cameras. The camera I use for TikTok is my iPhone. I want to say it's an 16 or an 18. And then for YT, because I'm live this morning both on both YT and on TikTok, I'm using my old iPhone, so I think that one's a 14. For YT, I stream horizontal, and for TikTok, I stream portrait. In the corner, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets. Everly, I have been crocheting for 40 years, 41 years. I started out learning how to do granny squares. And so it just takes a lot of time and practice and repetition. And you get faster with time as you get more and more experience. Dreamcraft, thank you so much for the follow, friend. Welcome in. Roxella, good morning. Welcome in as well. Thank you so much for being here this morning. If you are new to the channel, my name is April, and I'm a hobby crocheter. I do work full time. I come on at 7:30 Central Time, and I usually hop off about 9:30 to go to work. Now we are going to have some daylight savings time happening here in Alabama. I think it goes into is it Sunday that's daylight savings time, guys? So next week, instead of being on for 2 hours, I'm only going to be on for 1 hour until the time changes back. So that's all right. We can still get a lot done in that hour. A lot of visiting and whatnot. Okay, so there's our side. Again, we need 3 double crochets. Now, I'm not going to do any chains, but I am going to come over here to where we began in the very first stitch. I'm going to place a slip stitch, and then again, I'm going to work my way over to the corner with slip stitches. That's how my grams taught me. And then we're going to snip off and change colors. So Pam, I'm kind of half and half with the time change. Um, as most of you know, I work in Arizona, and Arizona does not do daylight savings time. So because they don't, normally I have to be at work at 10 o'clock Arizona time, 10 o'clock Alabama, which is 8 o'clock. But because they don't change, they're going to be only an hour different. So I will now have to go to work at 9 Alabama time is the time difference. I'm going to weave in these ends, guys, if I can get my yarn on my hook, on my needle here. This yarn I'm using is a variegated yarn. It kind of feels like vintage Christmas, but it's actually called Flocked Tree. And I'm just mixing the colors up as I go. I'm doing a different color for each round. So I'm color controlling and just pulling out the colors that I want as I go along. Now you could just let your uh, colors flow as well. I tried that, but I didn't really like how it was laying down. So I know, JT, don't say that 3 times fast for sure, right? Uh, this is a family-friendly channel here. So, yeah, it's the tree yarn. Okay, so weave in our corners. Again, that was knotted off, so I'm not too worried about it coming undone. And then we're going to snip off. I'm trying to be good about weaving in my ends as I go because when you make these granny squares like this, as most of you know, um, you'll have a ton to come back and weave in. Oh my goodness, Leah, thank you so much for the October. That was very cheerful. Pam's Beach Vibes, good morning. There's lots of different ways to do a granny square, guys. I'm just showing you kind of the traditional way that I do it, the way that I learned. Some people prefer to put a chain in between your sections. You totally could do that in between here if you prefer. I just have kind of gotten away from doing that. Savannah, thank you so much for the follow this morning, friend. Welcome in. My name is April. We're glad to have you here. P. Dot, good morning. Welcome, welcome. Y'all, we're working on some granny squares today. Just a little 4-row granny square with this beautiful yarn. It feels very festive and sparkly, but we're going to make some stockings, some holiday stockings with it. It takes 18 squares to do this. This is a pattern by MJ's Off the Hook. She's on YT. She also has a blog where she has all of her patterns listed. So it's a really beautiful stocking when you get it done. You can do it in the solid colors or you can do the mix and match colors, how I'm doing it. And then we're going to come back and we'll do this ribbed top around. No, Stanley, I do not block my granny squares. Once I get these sewn together, they will pull against each other and lay pretty flat. So I'm pretty consistent with my tension and whatnot. So I don't too much worry about blocking. I fortunately do not have to really do that, but you certainly could block if you would like. Now, this yarn has this gray blue color in it, and I just don't feel like it really goes with um, the vibe that I'm going for. So I'm actually pulling this color out. Now don't worry, I'll save this and use it for something else. So we're just going to remove all of that color out of our skein here. And then it's going to change here. It's really pretty light green. Let me set this to the side. So this is out of our way. Blocking is where you take your squares, lilac. You wet the squares. You can either dampen them, you can use a spray bottle. Some people completely submerge them. Then what you do is you take T-pins, or there's what's called a blocking board, and you pin in the corners and you stretch it out and get it into shape so that it holds its shape. And then the square dries and you end up with a perfectly square granny. So mine, you can see, they're pretty square. The ends do curl up a little bit on mine, but once I sew these together, they'll be really nice and flat. So I'm just kind of mixing and matching these colors, guys, as I go. Really no rhyme or reason. I'm going to do the light green because that's what's coming out next. Yes, exactly, Cassandra. You basically get the piece into a square shape. Sometimes when you make grannies or other granny squares in different patterns, they don't come out super flat and to shape. So you would then block them. Okay, so we're going to start our next round here. I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. Now you could start here with a chain of 3. Some people like to do a chain of 2. Some people like to do a stacked single. My preferred way to join is with a standing double. So I start with a slip knot on my hook, and then I secure the tail between my pointer finger and thumb. And then what I do is I wrap my yarn around once. Now, if you're going to do a standing stitch, it's very important that you secure this tail, because what happens if you don't hold on to it, your yarn will spin off and you'll be back down to one loop on your hook. So that's why I really try to secure that. Okay, so 2 loops. Now I go down through the space. I transfer the job of holding that tail to Mr. Thumb. No, 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 no. We have a visitor, y'all. Off, off. Those are moms. Off. You're not going to get any pets. No. Off. 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 Okay. Let's try again here. Get set back up. Pardon the intermission. I know, but mom. Okay, so then I hold the tail here so we have our 2 loops. Pull up a loop so we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And that is our standing double crochet. Now we need 2 more double crochets into that corner. Chain 2. Move these stitches to the side if you need to make a little more room, and then we're going to do 3 more double crochets. Now we're going to hop over to the side space here. Again, some people like to do a chain of 1 here. You don't have to. I don't do a chain there for mine. So I just go to the next space and then I do my 3 double crochets. Hey Holly, good morning. Welcome in. I saw Dana was working on some squares. Dana, which squares are you working on? Okay, now we're going to go to the next space. Again, 3 double crochets. I didn't do any chains. Now we're going to go to the corner, and in the corner we need our 3 double crochets. Chain 2 and 3 double crochets. Wow, 63 of the English rose square. That's a grip of squares, Miss Dana. Love that. I have some English squares going too. Um with different yarn. This is the English square right here. The English rose square. I have it in different colorways. It kind of looks like snowflakes the way I'm doing it. We're probably going to make I think a blanket with those. We'll see. To be determined. I always got something going on. Y'all know that. Let me get these hung back up here. Nobody. Okay. No, no, no. Get your nose off the yarn. Okay. Now along the side, once again, 3 double crochets. FL Girl, good morning. Welcome in. Joanne, thank you so much for the follow as well, my friend. Guys, if you are new here, my name is April, and I'm a hobby crocheter. This morning, we are working on some Christmas granny squares. I'm going to be making a stocking with them. This is a pattern by MJ's Off the Hook. She has a great YT channel. She does a lot of really cool sweaters and stuff as well. So lots of possibilities. But this is her 18 square granny square stocking. So you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. And then for the toe, you fold 1 in half. And for the heel, you fold 1 in half. So you could just make 18 squares. You can do them mix and match colors how I'm doing it. Or you could also do a solid. Looks really pretty as well. So I do love this pattern. I'm excited to do it. My friend Hannah was telling me about it. You guys all know Hannah. And I said, "Oh, that would be really fun. I've wanted to make some stockings. I just have never gotten around to it." There are some really beautiful options out there. I've had a really busy week at work so far, and the brain power is a little low this week because it's all being consumed by work. So I thought, I could do granny squares this week. I could definitely do granny squares. Granny squares are easy. Hey, Walisha, welcome in. Good morning. Jules said I started a corner to corner with Burnett blanket. Oh, very exciting, Jules. Yeah, we worked on corner to corner, what, a couple weeks ago? Taught some new folks how to do some corner to corner. So that was very fun and exciting. Okay, here we are back to the corner. 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Kelly says, same here. I've not had the bandwidth to crochet in the evenings lately. I know, right? That's the part that's hard. I know a lot of us work full time and, it's a busy time of year. So I get it. I definitely get it. That's why I thought, well, granny squares, they're not as hard as making like bobble stitches or popcorns or some of the other type of stitches that I work on. So this is a much easier way for me to still do some crocheting, but not have to think so hard. So I finished my last section here. Now I'm going to join with a slip stitch to my very first stitch here. Hang on, that's kind of a big stitch there. Let's make that a little smaller. Make him a little daintier. And I'm going to slip stitch over to the corner. There's Miss Hannah. Hey, Ruby, good morning. And then I'm going to snip off. Okay. So kind of give your granny squares a little tug. They'll come into shape. And I do have a couple more ends to weave in. So let's weave these in. I'm trying to be a good girl and weave them in as we go. Hannah, I'm making the MJ stocking that you recommended. I have a few that I made last night, but thank you so much for your recommendation of doing this pattern. This pattern is by MJ's Off the Hook Design. You need a total of 18 granny squares. Now, I've never done the ribbing on the top of this. This is an all new deal for me. I've made ribbing before on my hexagon cardigan sleeves, so I think it'll be kind of a lot like that, but probably taller. So snip off this tail. All of my ends are knotted in, so I'm not too worried about them coming loose or getting undone. We're just kind of hiding those tails into our work. So a couple more here to go. Jess, thank you so much for the follow. Barb, thank you so much for sharing the live this morning. Ruby said, I love the colors. Yeah, it's really pretty. This is the colorway Flocked Tree. As JT said, don't say that 3 times fast. You might mess it up because it's kind of a mouthful. But it seems kind of vintage looking colors, which I really like it. I think it's a pretty yarn. And it's the Worsted Holiday Sparkle. The mods will share where you can find this yarn and also the details of the pattern. But basically, I need 18 granny squares. Yeah, Hannah made it last year, the stocking, and she really liked it. It turned out really cool. Hannah, did you do multiple colors for yours like I'm doing with this, or did you do a solid color? Which way did you go with yours? I'm curious. Get out of there, Diesel. You're going to spill Mom's hot chocolate. I'm going to pause for a drink here, guys. I had some coffee, but then I was like, oh, hot chocolate sounds good. So I got some hot chocolate action happening. Mm-hmm. It's windy and cold here today, and I thought, oh, hot chocolate actually sounds kind of good. I wish my mom had been here to make it and put some little mini marshmallows in it. That would have made it even better. But she's not here. She's not here with me. I had to make my own hot chocolate this morning. Mr. Wheeler's off at work. It's rainy, and boy, is that wind howling out there, y'all. So now I'm going to weave in this last end here, get him secured, and then we'll be ready to start on another square. Yeah, it's rainy and gross here too, Kelly. It's really bad. So Hannah did 6 red, 6 white, and 6 green. Nice, Hannah. That had to be looking really pretty. I like the option of doing it in solid, but I like having the fun different colors too. I feel like it just adds a little variety to the work. Donna, thank you so much for the follow. My 4 grandsons, thank you for the follow. This okay. Why don't you go take that over there? We don't need that up here, mister. It's horrible nasty outside, y'all. Diesel's inside with me today, okay? So he already came for a little visit earlier. So that's the back of our granny square, and this is the front. Now, some people like to rotate their granny squares as they do each row. So they'll do one row up and then they'll flip it and do the other row back the other way. For me, I've always just done my work all on the same side. So you have a right side and a wrong side. And we're going to add this little guy into our clip here. And we'll show all the ones that I have so far. So I'm just kind of mixing and matching as we go along, however they come out. But I am doing a different color for each of the rows. Red Lady, good morning. Welcome in. That's Mom's yarn. They're pretty, right? It's kind of like a vintage green. I really like it. This is a 4-weight yarn. So we have a lot more to go. What do I have? I have 6 done. We got to do a bunch more of these. Okay, so I've got some green here left over from our previous square. Let's start with our center in the green color. Get my lap situated back here. Steph, good morning. Thank you so much for the follow. Dolphin Lover, good morning. Barbie said those are pretty. I know, aren't the colors pretty, Steph? Really pretty. It's giving mod retro vibes. I know, I like it. It's kind of like vintage looking. I'm making a Christmas stocking. I'm making the squares for it. This is a pattern by MJ. There's our girl there. MJ's Off the Hook Designs. You need a total of 18 granny squares. I'm probably only going to be on for about an hour today, guys. We'll see how Diesel does, but I do have to go to work a little early. So you need 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Then you had one for the toe that gets folded in half and one for the heel that gets folded in half. Diesel, what did you just take out of Mom's basket? I think he just took a plastic empty bottle. I have to keep an eye on this guy, you know? He's challenging. Okay, so we're going to start another granny square. I do mine with a magic ring. You also could do a chain of 3 here. You could do a chain of 4 for your center. Either way works totally fine. The way I do mine is I yarn over and I bring down a loop and I crisscross it and I hold it here between my middle finger and my thumb and I give myself a tail to weave in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a standing double crochet into the center of this magic ring. I don't go through the magic ring to create this. I work from the top here and I wrap my yarn around twice. Then I bring my hook down, I go under that ring and under the tail and I pull up a loop. So we have 3 loops on our hook. Then I yarn over and pull through 2 and yarn over, pull through 2. So that is our standing double crochet. Now, as I work the rest of these stitches, we're going to work around this ring, and I'm also going to bring the tail along as we go, and I'm going to work over both sides, both of those strands. So we need 2 more double crochets. So that's our first granny cluster. Then I'm going to chain 2, working right back down into that magic ring. We need to do this a total of 4 times. So here is our second granny cluster, 3 double crochets, chain 2. Where we're doing these chain 2s, that becomes the corner of our square. Right back down in, 3 more double crochets. This is our third grouping. Chain 2. Now, as you're working, if your ring gets a little big, you can just pull on this tail and close it up a little bit. And then right back down into that space, we need our 3 double crochets. As I finish this last granny cluster, I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch here to my very first stitch. And then I'm going to snip off. Oh, that rain is really coming down out there, y'all. Okay, so there is our very center. Then you can pull on this tail and close this up. And I'm going to get my darning needle, and we're going to weave in these tails. I know a lot of you know I don't like to weave in tails on the live, but when you do these granny squares, they make a lot of tails when you change as many colors as I do. So I'm going to try to weave those in as I go and be a good girl. Yeah, I think who all is getting rain this morning? It is absolutely pouring here. It is windy. It is such a blustery day out there. It's fluctuating between 50 and 48 degrees, keeps going up and down. It's pretty cold. Red Lady said it's raining buckets in Georgia. Well, I know Tennessee is, Kelly said it's raining up in Tennessee. So that means it's raining all the way from Tennessee to Georgia, raining in South Carolina too. So all the way up into the Carolinas. It is cranky weather out there. Granny's in Kentucky. My mom's mother, her family is originally from Kentucky. Um, apple orchard. So there is our very center. Okay. Now we're going to get another color here and do our next round. So we have this light green that is left over from our last round. I don't know if I have enough of this. I don't think I do. So let's snip off this green. This yarn I'm using, guys, is variegated. So what I do is I just am choosing the colors as they come off the skein and kind of mixing and matching. So we already did the dark green. I'm going to pull this out, and then let's see what our next color is after the dark green. And we can mix and match that way. Eventually it all works out, and I use all of the yarn, so it's not really a thing. But I am controlling the colors. Hey, Amanda, good morning. Cold in Chicago. Oh, there's my white. Okay, here we go. Let's snip off here. We will do white for the next round. Friends, if you're just joining on, we're working on a holiday stocking, a little Christmas stocking. You need a total of 18 squares. Then we'll come back and do the ribbing on top. This is a pattern by MJ's Off the Hook Design. That's what she looks like there. She does beautiful crochet work. So really, if she's on YT, if you're not following her already, definitely check out her channel. She does a lot of really cool things. Winona, thank you so much for the follow this morning, friend. Ain't nothing but a thing, right, Miss Hannah? San, thank you so much for sharing the live. The mods will pin where I got my yarn from. It is called Flocked Tree, and it's variegated. And I'm just using the colors and alternating to make these granny squares. It kind of has like a vintage feel to it, but it's really pretty yarn. And we're just kind of doing each square a different color. So I'm going to start with a slip knot on my hook. And I'm going to start here in the very corner where I ended. What I like to do is I like to put my tail over the corner here. And as I work into this corner, work over top of this tail to help weave it in. Now, when I start my next rows, I like to start with a standing double crochet. However, you could do a chain of 3 here. You could also do a chain of 2. I like to do a standing double. Some people like to do a stack single. That's totally fine too. The way I do this is I start with a slip knot on my hook, and I wrap my yarn around once. Get out of there. Go on. Go on. No, that's mom's yarn. No. Okay. And then I hold the tail. If you do not hold your tail, what happens is it will spin off and you'll be down to one loop on our hook. I yarn over and pull up a loop. So we have 3 loops on our hook. And then I yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that is our standing double crochet. We need 2 more double crochets into this corner. chain 2, slide your stitches over if you need a little more room, and then I do 3 more double crochets right into this corner. Hey Maggie, good morning. Welcome in. Oh, Queen 530 got her yarn. Awesome, awesome. Which colorways did you get, Queen? Y'all, Miss Maggie there is an amazing TikToker. If you are not familiar with her channel, I highly encourage you to check her out. Magical Unicorn, she does live on Saturday and Sunday and sometimes during the week. But she's a fabulous creator. A lot of us are friends with Miss Maggie here. So definitely check her out. Let's see here. Kimberly, good morning. Welcome in. Sue Marie, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you being here this morning. Y'all, if you are new to the channel, my name is April, and I'm a hobby crocheter. I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central Time. I am live this morning both on TikTok and over on YT. My handle over there is Wheeler 8 Acres. If you ever have to hop off, get the kids to school, go to work, all the things, you can always go back and rewatch the lives over on my YT. As you look at my profile over there, you'll see a category that says videos, a category that says shorts, and then there's another category that says live. So we have friends that are watching on both platforms this morning, and you can always go back and rewatch those lives. So here we go. I'm going to move to the final corner here. I'm not going to chain or anything. Some people like to chain here with the one. You totally can do that as well. Into the next corner, I'm going to just do my 3 double crochets without the chain. Vicky, have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. After you do your 3 double crochets, chain 2, and now 3 double crochets right back down in. Now I'm going to join with a slip stitch to my very first stitch, and I'm just going to slip stitch over to the corner. My grandma always taught me to end in the corner. And the reason she did that is she said it was easier to weave in your tails if it was in the corner here because you could weave under all these stitches. And it does make a lot of sense. So that's kind of always the way that I've done it. Now, some people will end right here. That's totally fine too, however you feel comfortable with that. So there is our next round. So let's get our needle and weave in these ends and get them kind of wrapped up. Hey, Miss Jordan, welcome in. Nice to have you here this morning. Uh, Good morning, sunshine. Although I will tell you, here we are not having any sunshine. It is pretty nasty out there. It's rainy, it's windy, it's gusting really bad, and it is downright kind of cold here. It keeps fluctuating between 48 and 50. So, yeah, it's not a very nice day out there, but I'm inside, cozied up in my blanket, doing my crocheting. So, you know, can't complain too much, I guess. At least I don't have an outside job. I feel for those that do. I'm in Northeast Alabama. I'm about 50 minutes south of Chattanooga. We can be in Georgia in an hour or up in Tennessee in an hour. So we're just up in that tippy top. I'm originally from Arizona and I still work in Arizona. I work remote. So in the mornings, because I don't have to be at work until 8 o'clock Arizona time, I come on live to crochet with my friends and have coffee. Although this morning I'm having hot chocolate. It seemed like a good day for some hot chocolate. It'll be cold by the time I'm off the live. But I did have some this morning while it was still hot. What do you have? Okay, you can have that. Because it's so nasty outside, Mr. Diesel's inside with me. Mo is sleeping, but Mr. Diesel, he's here into everything. You know how he is. Uh, it's not sunny in North Georgia either. I know. Now, we heard it's raining all the way from Tennessee over into Georgia, up into the Carolinas. It's a blustery day out there. Hey, Viv, good morning. Jess, thank you so much for sharing the live. Minico, thank you for the follow, friend. Welcome in. Always glad to have some new friends join us. If you are new to the channel, my name is April. We're glad to have you here this morning. So we're just working on some granny squares this morning, guys. Um, I work has been rather crazy this week, and it's taken all my brain power just to do the work stuff. So I needed a project that was very nice and easy, and that's why I was like, I'm going to make some granny squares. I've been wanting to make this pattern here. This is by MJ's Off the Hook Design. So you need a total of 18 granny squares. No. If you hear me say no randomly, guys, I'm talking to the dog. So 18 granny squares, you could do it variegated like I'm doing, or you can do solid colors. And so either way is both really pretty. But we're just using this yarn I've got here. It's a variegated yarn. It's called Flocked Tree, and it feels like kind of like vintage Christmas colors, really pretty. So we're done with this white. Let's take this out of our skein here and see what the next color is. I don't remember. Oh, yeah, it's like a darker beige. Let's use it. Diesel, get out of there. You're going to spill my drink. Renee, Lola, and Cleo, welcome in. Thank you so much for the follows, friends. Okay, so for our next round, that's Mom's. We're going to start with a slip knot on my hook. Now, you could also tie on in your corner if you wish. I like to do a standing double crochet. Annalisa, my camera I have two cameras this morning. I'm live this morning both on TikTok and on YT. So my TikTok camera kind of sits at shoulder level here to my left, and my YT camera is in front of it. For TikTok, I stream portrait, and for YT, I stream horizontal. So the cameras are kind of sitting like this, but they're basically at my right shoulder. I have a stand that holds them on my table. It's like a clampy thing. Okay, so into the corner, I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. Once again, you could do a chain of 3 here. That's totally fine. You could do a stacked single. What I do is I wrap my yarn around once. Now I hold this tail. If you do not secure the tail, what will happen is it will spin off and you'll be back down to one loop. So yarn over, hold that tail. Then I go into the space and then I transfer the job of holding that tail to this thumb so it frees up my hand to be able to do this stitch. Pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that is my standing double crochet. Nina, welcome in. Glad to have you here. We have a lot of left-handed folks here that follow me as well. So you're in good company here, my friend. Marta, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Mr. Thumb does deserve a raise. I should have updated the Mr. Thumb sticker. I didn't think I was going to be using him today. I should have updated the sticker. My bad. Hey, Brandy, good morning. So then we need a total of 3 double crochets in that corner, chain 2, scoot these stitches to the side if you need to. We're going to put 3 more right here into the corner. My handle on YT is Wheeler 8 Acres. Wheeler 8 Acres. Nobody. No, no, no. Look at all my stuff I have up here. No. Off. 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 He's so big, y'all. Hang on. Sorry, I'm trying to get him off. 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 I'll bring him up in a little bit, Miss Sparky. I'm just trying to keep him from jumping on me right now so I can actually do some crocheting. But we'll see how this morning goes. I'm probably not going to work. I'm probably only going to be on for an hour today, guys, because I have to work. I have to go into work early. So when I'm ready to get off the live, he's a Rottweiler. We got him in last December, and he thinks he's a lap dog. And when I'm sitting here crocheting, he likes to jump up and get loves, is what he's trying to do. So he's a good boy. He's a good boy. But we're trying to crochet without it. Don't do it. No. Okay. Then along the side, I like to do 3 double crochets. I don't do any chains here in between. I just do 3 double crochets. Some people prefer to do a chain right there, and you totally could do that. That is completely acceptable. Then into the corner, I'm going to hop right on over. Again, I'm not going to chain at all. And then I'm going to repeat the corner space. Oh, now he's up in Mr. Wheeler's chair. Maybe he'll lay down up there and relax. We'll see. Everybody be very, very quiet. Okay, so in the corner, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Once again, move to the next space. I'm not going to do any chains. I just do my 3 double crochets, little granny cluster. Now into the corner again, 3 doubles. Chain 2 and 3 doubles. Get out of there. No. What did you just take? Leave it. Sparky, I was thinking about you last night when I was working on these squares because I tried really hard to let the colors flow, but they just looked so wonky when I was doing it. It ended, if you just do the colors the way they come out, you don't have enough to like finish the full round before it changes colors. And so then I ended up with like a green section right here, and it just looked really kind of odd. So I decided to control the colors, and I had Sparky in my brain. I know. I know I should have a different core memory of you, but for better or for worse, Sparky, we're married that way with color controlling. So this is what we're making today, guys. I'm just making granny squares. We're going to make this stocking. This is by MJ's Off the Hook Design. You need 18 granny squares. I'm doing with 4 rounds. You could also do them with 3 rounds if you want a smaller stocking. And you could do variegated. You could do a solid. Eventually, we'll come back and we'll do this ribbing here at the top. So, let me, hang on, y'all. I have to see what this dog has gotten out of. I think he got my bottle of Tums, and I don't want him to be chomping on that. 1 second here, y'all. This might be a good place to end the live because he's into everything. I think I'm just going to stop right here, y'all, and call it. But I will bring him up since he's in the house, and a lot of you want to see Diesel because you haven't seen him for a while. So if y'all want to stick around and see the baby puppy, come here, bud. Here he is. Come right here. Come right here so people can see you. Okay, I'm going to. Oh, here he is. Okay. Hi, buddy. See, he's so big, y'all. Let me see if I can raise you up. Oh, you're such a big boy. You're such a big boy. Let the people see you. Let the people see you. Oh, are you doing the Roddy Rumbles? All right, you're flashing everybody mom's tattoo. That's a good boy. He's a good boy. You got shoeies in your eyes, bud. This is our little rumbler, y'all. He's a big boy. He's so in December, at the end of December, he'll be 1. So he's still a baby, but he's a big baby. Big paws. Yeah. That's a Diesel. That's a Diesel. He likes to rumble. He likes to talk back. Okay, you're too big to come all the way up, bud. Watch mom's camera. Watch her phone. So anyhow, this is who y'all hear rumbling around when I'm in here crocheting when the weather's bad. He's a good boy. He's he's kind of he still is kind of in puppy mode. He's a big boy, huh? He's a big boy. Hey, hey, what are you doing over here? Hey, let's see your face. Let's see your face, bud. Diesel. Oh, there he is. Oh, yes. Life is so hard. Huh. All right, y'all. I'm going to go to work. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Sorry it was a little chaotic again. I hope y'all have a great day. Bye for now.